Hi, everybody. Welcome to the joint venture masterclass. How to double your business in 30 days using joint ventures. Now, first of all, a bit of background to myself, and I'll try and be as quick as possible. My name is Sahel Khan, and I've been quoted as a true rag to riches super success story, just like Andrew Carnegie. People are giving me the name the Master Connector, and I'll tell you a bit more about why. I've achieved over $50 million using joint ventures, and I'm going to be covering a few case studies actually on this training for you as well. I'm an international speaker charging $15,000 a keynote. I've done a lot of speaking in the US, especially. I'm one of the only Brits to be invited to speak in the US about JVs. I'm the creator of my program, brokeringbootcamp.com, which is my 3-day joint venture brokering program. I train joint venture brokers all around the world. Been doing that for the last 10 years. I'm also the author of Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures with my late mentor, J. Conrad Levinson. And I sold my main JV consulting business for 8 figures in 2017. And like I said, I'll tell you more about some of the things that I've done and some more case studies during this training for you as well. Okay, so here's what I'm going to be covering today in this masterclass. I'm going to be talking about the real power of joint ventures. I'm going to be talking about the benefits of being a joint venture broker, just as myself. I'm going to show you how to go out and use joint ventures to find targeted joint venture partners. I'm going to show you how to go out and actually contact joint venture partners. I'm also going to show you how to become really good at building rapport and networking and how to connect with millionaires, billionaires, and thought leaders. I'm going to show you a couple of case studies and show you a couple of really cool techniques that you can use to go out there and connect with thought leaders and influencers. I'm also going to cover how to create 6- and 7-figure joint ventures with some case studies. And I'm also going to show you basically how to use social media as a tool to create successful joint ventures. I've got another thing for you guys also. There is a bonus. If you stay right to the end, you will get my free 7-figure JV agreement templates and my NDA that not only I use, but my joint venture brokers also use. So you'll get access to that if you stay right to the end of this training. And the system I use will actually tell me how many people I have stayed at the end, and I'll have all your details, and we'll get that sent out for you. It's a great bonus. It's worth $500 on its own, but you guys will get a copy of that if you stay right to the end. Thank you. Okay, first of all, let me talk about something that I believe, and I still believe, after 15, 20 years, is the world's most powerful business strategy, and that's joint ventures. Now, a lot of people always ask me, hell, what is a joint venture? So a joint venture basically is an arrangement of mutual benefit between 2 or more people or businesses who have complementary resources. Now, what that basically means is, let's say you have a luxury bathroom tile manufacturer and a luxury bathroom suite manufacturer. Now, both of these companies see each other as competitors, but they share complementary resources. And what is that? Customers. They have a very similar customer base, but most of the time, these 2 companies won't form a partnership because they see each other as competitors. When there's more than 2 people in an arrangement, the third person is normally known as a joint venture broker, such as myself, who basically puts these companies together and creates joint venture deals, partnerships, and it gets rewarded from a percentage of the sales made from these joint venture deals. Also, another question I have for you, and you can help me answer this. What do you think is a business's most valuable asset? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to write in the comment box what you think and what you understand from what you think basically is a business's most valuable asset. So I'll give you a few minutes if you can just write in the comment box, the chat box, and let me know what you think is a business's most valuable asset. If I ask you the question, what is a business's most valuable asset? What do you think is a business's most valuable asset? So let's have a look. Okay, Ryan says connections. Yes. John says list, customer database. Okay, Simon says customers. Um, Samantha says definitely customers. Okay, brilliant. All right, okay, good. Well, actually, I'll give you a bit of a surprise there because most people, you might have heard the saying, the money is in the list. Actually, the money is in the relationship you have with your customers. Okay, that's the most valuable asset that can be leveraged. So one of the business most valuable assets are basically are their customers. Okay, this is a very valuable asset that can be leveraged. Now, let me give you an example of how this works. When a business is sold, the customer database, which is known as goodwill, is normally valued on the balance sheet, and that's basically the actual value of that asset. Now, here's some statistics for you. Interestingly enough, it costs 6 times as much to sell to a new buyer. Okay, so lead acquisition costs are about 6 times as much. That's what it costs to actually sell to a new buyer because of the lead acquisition cost. And when you've acquired that customer and you sell to that customer again, you're making pure profit because you've covered your lead acquisition cost. Now, using joint ventures, it costs you nothing upfront to acquire customers because you're using other businesses' lists or other businesses' marketing. So it actually costs you zero, absolute zero upfront to acquire new customers. That's the power of joint ventures and strategic partnerships. And also, more of the profit is yours because there's no advertising costs. You aren't basically, you have no costs at all upfront if you're partnering with another company that's promoting your product or service. And that is the power of joint ventures. One of the other benefits of using joint ventures is it also allows you to compensate weak areas in your business without the nominal investment. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a company that has a catch-22. They have a great product and they have great sales, but they don't have the investment to be able to expand their operation and create a new sales team and also purchase new equipment like a call center, for example. They can basically leverage another company's call center that's being underutilized and utilize their salespeople to make sales for them and give them a cut or a commission on the sales that are made. So again, no nominal investment needed if you can leverage other businesses' assets. It also allows you to take advantage of unlimited complementary skills and resources. Once you've created one joint venture deal and you've done one joint venture partnership, you basically just take that same partnership to another business and you pitch them the same partnership. And because it's something that's been done and works and it's proven and tested, it's very easy to convince businesses to work with you once you have one proven and tested joint venture partnership. This is the great thing with joint venture partnerships. Also allows you to boost your lead client generation profit quickly. As I explained, there's no cost upfront to generating leads using joint ventures. And it's basically like a tap. Once you've found one good joint venture partnership, you can basically open the tap and create as many leads and as much business as you want from joint venture partnerships. It also allows you great branding potential for free. One of the interesting things is you can partner up with thought leaders, with people of authority, and basically co-brand yourself and get that branding literally for free by creating a partnership with another known brand or another known expert in the space. Also, it allows you to make money out of thin air. Now, this is one of the biggest things when people talk about joint ventures, that you can make money from nothing. And I'm going to prove to you today and show you how you can make something from nothing using joint venture partnerships. Okay. Another benefits of being a JV broker. So one of the things that I do, one of the things that I'm well known for, is being a joint venture broker. And as a joint venture broker, I make lots of money just by simply being a middleman or middle person. All I do is I broker deals and I broker partnerships between companies. I don't need to spend years building a customer list or even creating my own products. I don't need to keep track of sales, chase people for money owed, or even fulfill orders. I just step in, leverage other businesses' assets, resources, and I make huge profits by just bringing people and companies together. That's one of the major benefits of being a joint venture broker and getting into the joint venture space. brokering deals. So I just want to tell you a bit about myself, and I want to share this story because I want to show you how anyone can become successful applying joint ventures. You don't have to necessarily be well known in the space. Now, I am basically very successful at this game. I became an overnight success after basically 15 years. So, and I'm very well known in the space for creating very successful joint venture deals. But I, like everyone else, started from somewhere. And I just want to take you through and show you how it's possible to be very, very successful in this game. So this is me, a picture of me actually in 2006. I built a very successful 8-figure business using joint ventures. And when I was very young, I had posters on the wall of my favorite cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and I eventually got the shiny red Ferrari that I wanted. I got a couple of other really cool cars as well. I lived in a huge mansion, and life was amazing back in 2006. Then in 2008, during the last recession, I basically lost everything. I went from being a multimillionaire to totally broke, literally overnight. And then I set myself a challenge in 2009 to get back on my feet, and I managed to close a 7-figure JV deal in just 30 days using nothing but joint ventures. So I want to just take you through that quickly right now, and just take you through my journey of joint ventures and strategic partnerships. So I originally trained as an accountant. That's my background. Um, I didn't spend much time working as an accountant. For me, it was, and no offense to any accountants or any CPAs on this training call, I was very good at numbers, but for me, it was just I spent a lot of time spending my time teaching other people how to use the internet and the computers, which basically was really what I was more interested in. But I wasn't a big fan of accounting, especially being stuck in a tax division. So I left that job, a successful job as an accountant, and I pursued a career in information technology. I did a master's, and I wrote a thesis about the impact of the internet on the manufacturing industry. This was back in 1996-97, and because the internet had just basically launched, and a lot of people were asking what is going to be the impact of the internet on business. So I wrote this thesis. My professor posted it online, and as you know, if you're as young as I am, you will know that Google actually launched in '98, and before '98 we had bulletin boards before search engines. So my professor posted it onto bulletin boards. I started getting calls from venture capital firms, .com companies, corporations asking me to come and talk to them about this thing called the internet. So back in '97, '98, I basically, straight after I graduated, I became an internet consultant, and I was going out speaking to very big companies about how to use the internet. Now, one of the things I did, I created a case study, and as most of you know, this is what I still do after 15, 20 years. Most of what I've done in this space or in new spaces, I always create new case studies. So I created a case study. Basically, we created a website selling a PDF computer training courses, and it was just a one-page website, e-commerce website, and it had a shopping cart. And we basically, in '98, Google was launched. We were number one on the search engines for online computer training, and we were getting orders every day like clockwork, automated. And this is something that we used to show a lot of the big companies that look, we know how e-commerce works, we make money online, basically automated. So we took that to a lot of companies, showing them this is what we're doing, this is how we work, we're internet consultants. And it was great from 98, 99, 2000. It was the dot-com boom, and we had loads of big clients paying us between $20,000, $40,000 for campaigns. And one of my first clients actually was a company called QVC.com. You might have heard them, shopping channel. And everything was great until the year 2000. In the year 2000, we had the dot-com bubble burst, and then we had Y2K. So we not only lost a lot of clients, they closed their doors. We also were to blame for Y2K as being computer consultants. So in 2000, we had to basically figure out what we do now. And as what's happening now in the economy, we had to pivot. So we couldn't do the consulting anymore in the IT space because of the Y2K and the dot-com bubble burst. So we decided to focus on this little computer training website that was making us money, and we decided to grow it into a proper business. Now, early 2000, I came across a great book. Write this down. It's called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got by actually one of my mentors, Jay Abraham. And in the book, Jay talks about something called strategic partnering. And he talks about how you can easily go out and get other people to promote your product and service for you without any cost up front, and basically get them to promote your product and service very easily through strategic partnering. So in early 2000, I decided to find out. I reached out to one of the largest IT recruitment firms in Europe. They were headquartered in London. I basically sent them an email and I said, look, if I can show you a way to, and if I can create an additional revenue stream for you without increasing your overheads, would you be interested? And that's always been my pitch. And they said yes. And they invited me down to see them. I went to Regent Street in London, sat there in front on this boardroom with all these directors, and said, okay, tell us how are you going to do this? How are you going to help us create a new or additional revenue stream without increasing our overheads? I said, it's pretty simple. It's called a strategic partnership, the joint venture. Now I said, first of all, tell me how many people do you have in your database? This is, we have 100,000 IT professionals. I said, okay. So I said, what are you currently doing right now in terms of marketing to them? What do you send them? And they said, well, we have a newsletter that goes out like twice a month. And in that we post the latest computer jobs. And I said, right now at the moment, there aren't any because there's a big decline in your industry and you need to figure out an additional revenue stream. And this is why we're here to help. If you promote our computer training courses to your database through your newsletter, there's no overheads because you're already doing that marketing. We'll give you a percentage for every one you sell. So the deal was struck. We also told them we had an affiliate program. We could track all the sales. And you could see what's going on in the background, and every month we just cut you a check. So that was my first joint venture I did, actually with a corporation. And remember, guys, they didn't know who I was, so I was virtually unknown at that time. And then it was a great partnership. You know, in that year, doing that one deal, our turnover for this small computer training website went from around $50,000 just to under just $400,000 with one partnership. And it didn't cost us anything up front, not a penny. So that was my first foray into doing strategic partnering and joint ventures, and I was hooked. I was very, very hooked. And then in 2002, the whole industry changed. We now had video-based training, and but it was very, very expensive. So when we looked at getting courses created, it was a couple of $100,000 for a couple of hours of training, and most of our competitors had over sort of 100 titles. So we thought, okay, look, how do we get into this game? We want to start basically selling courses now to governments and to corporations, to the corporate sector. So we went and we found a company in Clearwater, Florida, who had basically computer training courses that we could white label, that we could put our own brand on. So I contacted them and they said, well, yeah, we can do that, but it's going to cost you $100,000 for a license first, and then we can proceed. So I said, look, there must be a way that we can do a deal. So I jumped on a plane armed with $10,000 and I flew to the US. And when I was in the US, I basically met with the CEO, who was the lady CEO of the company, a very successful multi-million-dollar e-learning company. And I still remember while I was waiting in her office, waiting for her to come out of a meeting, I looked at her bookshelf and she had some great books. She had books from Joe Vitale, Brian Tracy, and she had one book there from Jay Abraham. So I was like, okay, she's going to understand how partnerships work and how JVs work, right? So we sat down, we had a conversation, and we struck a deal. I paid her $10,000 up front as a goodwill payment. I said, look, I guarantee I'm going to make you more than $100,000 in the next couple of weeks. So I flew back to the UK from the US, armed with a licensing deal, and now I had over 100 titles with our own branding on. And that year, we actually did seven-figure turnover in that year with the licensed content from another company. And what was the investment for that? For us to go to seven figures, it cost me just $10,000. That was the initial investment. So see, this game is all about leverage. What I teach, what I do, it's all about leverage. Okay, so that's the name of the game. You have to understand how to leverage the little that you have to make it into a bigger thing. And this is the power of joint ventures and strategic partnerships, coupled with licensing. So I was getting good now at doing deals and striking deals. In 2006, as you can see me here, I did a very big deal, actually one of the biggest deals, and I found a company that had over 500,000 customers. They were a computer hardware company, and by then we were doing e-learning, so we were a software-based company. So I approached this company. I said the same thing. I said, look, you guys got 500,000 customers. I've done a couple of deals. I can show you how to create an additional revenue stream without increasing your overheads. And again, they invited me to a meeting. I went to their very plush office, sat in their plush boardroom. It was a family-run business, chairman and the CEO, father and son. I got in there, I started doing my pitch for my deal, and 10, 15 minutes into my pitch, the chairman got up and said, look, we're not really interested in doing a deal with you, Sahel. And I said, why is that? So I thought I might have done something to really piss them off or upset them. But the whole point was they didn't want to do a deal with me and my company. They wanted to buy my company. So at that time, I had two more partners. So I had to go out and speak to my partners, and we decided to sell a majority stake because we were more in the corporate sector. They were more B2C in the consumer sector. So we decided to sell a stake. We sold a majority stake to them. They were a 160 million IT group, and now we became part of this very large group. We had a shareholding in their group as well. We sat on the board of which basically then was a nine-figure company, and that day we all became multi-millionaires with our shareholding. So this was me in 2006, as you can see right now. At top of my game, built an eight-figure business. Now was part of a nine-figure business, and again, very, very successful. And then what happened was in 2008 we had the dreaded recession, and the group that basically owned the majority of stake in my company, they were basically taking stakes in other dot-com companies, which were duds, which were rubbish companies, and they ended up basically going into liquidation in 2008 because of this big disaster and this big mistake they made. So when they went into liquidation, guess what? So did we. They dragged my business down with them, and we also signed guarantees with the bank. There were debts to pay, and basically, naturally, the banks came after me, the guy who had the most assets to lose: the Ferrari, the Bentley, the Porsche, the mansion. And I ended up basically liquidating my assets to avoid bankruptcy and negotiating with the bank to pay them off. So there I was, everything's gone, and now I was basically totally broke. And I still remember that day. I moved back home to my parents' house, and my mum basically showed me back to my old bedroom, which was still the same it was when I left. So obviously, one day she knew I was going to come back home. And I always tell this joke on stage that that's what mums are like. They always expect us to come home back home one day. But it was a desperate time for me. And if most of you know, if you've ever been in a situation where you're in negative, whereas I have living a multi-millionaire lifestyle, which I could afford at the time because I had loads of assets and loads of revenue. When you lose that income, you get into what is called survival mode. And it was a difficult time for me, and I still remember that day. And my mother said to me, "What are you going to do right now?" And I said, "Look, I'm at the bottom of the floor right now. I'm on the ground. I can't go any lower. I have to go up. There's only one way to go, and that is up." So look, I sat down and I said, "Look, what is it that I've done in the past that I could do again, right? What is it that I've done that worked for me?" And it was staring right in my face: joint venture partnerships. I built this business from scratch to eight figures doing joint venture partnerships. So I made a decision in 2009, and I said, "Look, I'm going to do a couple of joint ventures in 12 months and make $1 million and get back on my feet." But I was very, very fortunate. In 2009, I completed a $1.5 million deal in 30 days. And I'm just going to take you through exactly how I did that step by step. So again, when you learn about joint ventures, you develop this joint venture mindset where you can see opportunity like every day. And I was reading a local, a national newspaper, and there was a big classified ad, one-page ad at the back, and it said it was an ad for a book called "How to Use Your PC in 2 Hours" for the baby boomer civil servant market. And underneath it said 400,000 copies sold, right? So they had 400,000 paying customers. So I saw that and I thought, okay, there are 400,000 customers. This is interesting. My background was in computer training software. So if they have a book on computer training, I contacted them and said, hey, I love the book. Bought it for my uncle. He's more visual. Do you have a video-based course of the video-based version of the book? They said no. I said, well, I have one. Do you think your existing customers who bought the book would be interested in upselling them to a video-based course? They said, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Can you send it to us for us to have a look at? So basically, I persuaded them that I need to come out and see them. So I went to go and see them. We had a meeting, and they said yes. They said, look, this is a great idea. Yes, we are definitely interested. Can you get the video course to us within the next couple of days for us to have a look at? And I left the meeting thinking, shit, okay, they want to do a deal, and I don't even have the product. So here's an interesting point, guys. You can actually pitch a deal without actually having the product, because what you're doing, you're securing distribution, and there's big money in distribution. If you can take control of distribution, then you can put any product into that distribution. So this is one of the ways that I've managed, and a couple of my students have managed to do really well and do seven-figure deals using and leveraging distribution in partnerships. So I went looking for a software course that I could use. I approached a couple of companies. I went to some Office Max. I went to superstores and said, hey, you've got this software, and can we do a deal? Is there any way that we can white label it? Can you give me a better margin? And none of them could do that. So it wasn't feasible. So instead, I went to a website called elance.com, which is now upwork.com. And I basically found a freelancer who created a video course on Camtasia using the contents of the book. And I owned the rights to that, and I paid $500 for it. So I went back to the company and I said to them, hey, here's the video course. It's based on the book. And they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So the manager said, wow, this is really awesome. I think my existing customers will love this. So I said, look, you know your numbers. How many of the existing customers can we upsell to the video course, and how many of them do you think will buy? And he said, at least 50%. So from 400,000 customers, we're looking at around 200,000 customers, okay? And then we have to do pricing. So how much do you guys want to sell this at? This is about $19.95 is what we're going to pitch it at. So okay, look, you can keep majority share. Give me $7.50 for each one you sell. I'll give you a license to duplicate the content, and you can package it, and you can post it, and you do the shipping. All you do is just give me a cut for everyone you sell. And they said, great. It was really good. So the partnership was done. The deal was done. They did the campaigns. The campaigns went really, really well. And we sold just over 201,000 units of the video course, and my cut was $7.50 per unit, netting me just over $1.5 million from that deal as the broker, or as the deal maker in that deal. So that was a very, very successful deal, and I'm just going to take you through it now step by step and show you how easy that is to put together. So first of all, I found a list of 400,000 buyers and contacted the company with a JV proposal without the product. I ended up using elance.com to create a complimentary product for just $500. I introduced and licensed the product to the list owner, making just over $7.50 per unit sold without handling any fulfillment. And we did a total of 201,462 units, and I collected just over $1.5 million as my JV commission. And like I say, guys, licensing is one of the most lucrative joint ventures, and I've done a couple of licensing deals and so a couple of my students. So that's an example of a seven-figure deal using someone else's resources, someone else's asset, which is their customer database of paid customers. Now, a lot of people say, that's great. What other joint venture deals have you done? Have you been involved in? So nowadays I focus on offline joint ventures, but I have been known to do online joint ventures. So back in the days, I was a broker for some of the big gurus in the space, including people like Michael Sain. I put together this partnership. We launched affiliate.com, and we made just over $4 million with that launch. And doing joint ventures is very lucrative. My first consulting gig I did a few years ago, I was paid $30,000 for 1 day of JV consulting for a client in New York. And this is the suite that they put me up in, overlooking Central Park, the Mandarin Oriental, and it does have its perks doing joint venture consulting gigs for corporations. Also, again, I was very fortunate enough. My wife, who was my fiance, I managed to get her a 5-figure Valentine's gift when we were in Paris from just one JV deal. I said to her, look, if I close this deal, I'll get you a gift, and this is what I managed to do when we were over in Paris. And also, again, I also moved to Dubai a couple of years ago and lived on the Palm, which is a great place. And I ended up launching a new business in Dubai using joint venture partnerships. And this is amazing for me. I didn't know the economy. I didn't know how business was done in the Middle East, but I managed to create a brand new business that we actually built and sold for 6 figures while living on the Palm, using strategic partnering and joint venture partnerships. It also allows me to spend a limited time with my family. I travel a lot. That's my son Harry, and we spend a lot of time together because I can work from anywhere in the world, creating joint venture partnerships and doing joint ventures even within my own business. It's such a great skill to have. Also, I sold my main JV consulting business for 8 figures in 2017, so I no longer do the joint venture consulting. I still do a couple of brokering deals. I do some introducing deals now on LinkedIn, and I'm pretty much semi-retired, really. But I do enjoy doing this thing. And actually, in early 2020, I actually purchased back my IP rights to my training programs. But I didn't purchase back my JV consulting business, but I now re-own my IP, which I sold back in 2017 alongside that deal. So I've got my IP back for all my training programs. Okay, so one of the things I spoke about earlier was the joint venture mindset. So let me just take you through this quickly. If you don't have the right success mindset, then here's the thing, you are going to fail. Okay, visualization is what we do a lot of in creating joint venture partnerships and joint venture deals. And this is something that you should do regularly if you want to be very, very successful in this game. And again, visualization is the best means of manifesting the specific successful outcome of doing deals. So if you want to attract the energy of opportunity and success, then you should use an affirmation. So I usually do this on stage and with hundreds and thousands of people in the audience. It's pretty cool, but we can do it right now. If you repeat after me, I am the right person in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. And like I say, I hope that you're repeating that. And again, I'm aware of and open to unlimited joint venture opportunities. I'm involved in the best high-level joint venture opportunities. And another thing as well, always see yourself as someone adding value to others. Everything in life that I've accumulated, that I've been very successful with, it's always because I add value to everyone. Value to my shareholders, to my suppliers, value to my customers, my clients, value to my friends, and value to my family. So always think of yourself as someone adding value to others. Right, so let's do some training. First of all, finding potential joint venture partners. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of areas where you can go and find some really, really cool JV partners. First of all, existing mailing lists, customer lists, or newsletter lists. This is one of the best places to start because the customers have already done business with the list owner and have a trusted relationship which could be leveraged. So a couple of websites you can use to find lists. One is highlightdms.co.uk. That's a UK mailing list broker. I believe Mike Chant, who used to run this, doesn't run it anymore, but I think his son has taken over. Mediafinder.com if you're in the US, Canada. And if you're looking for newsletter lists, it's new-list.com. Okay. I'll give an example here. Here's a highlight. It's a mailing list broker. I'll show you a way how you can get access to mailing lists for free. Now, if you go and do a search on, let's say, a health list, it'll give you an example. It'll say they've got 892,617 buyers on their list. Base price is about $150 per 1,000 buyers. It's what you pay to access the list. And they also give their website, which is, for example, the website you can see here. One way you can get access to these lists, I'm going to be covering that in the next couple of slides. Seminars and paid events are also great, but you can meet and network with a lot of serious and motivated people. But here's the thing, guys: stop going to free events, go to paid events. The higher the price for the seminar event, the more players you will meet. I used to speak at a lot of free events, and I always used to see the same people in the room, thousands of people. And to be honest with you, that's not where the business is. You want real business, go to paid events, okay? We've got some really cool events. We've got like Funnel Hackers Live. We've got Traffic Conversion Summit. Some of these really, really cool events, like the big ones where you have to pay, are some of the best ones to go to, where you'll find the absolute cream of the crop people to network with. And also ask the right questions. First of all, the icebreaker question. If you meet someone, let's say his name is Joe. Hi Joe, how did you get started as a whatever it is they are? Great icebreaker question. And then the next question you should ask them is, Joe, tell me, how can I help you sell more of your product or service? And then just be quiet and let that person talk, because that is the way you'll find if you can help them or not, or what they're really looking for. And as brokers, as connectors, that's what we do, right? We're trying to find them a solution to their problems. So another place also is social network sites. You can collaborate with other professionals and directly work with key people of influence through sites like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay, I'm going to give you a technique here and strategy how to use social media. One of the things that I do is I use social media to connect with people who are key influencers in my industry. Now, when I first started in this game 10 years ago, this is what I used to do. I used to go and reach out to thought leaders and influencers and basically make connections and report and give and keep giving. My motto has always been give first, ask later. And that's how I built a good rapport with a lot of these guys who became not only good friends and mentors, but also partners in business with me as well. So promote these people and recommend them. Give as much as you can. Keep giving, and then they will reciprocate. Now, there's something called the law of reciprocity, and it's a great book. You want to write this down. It's called The Psychology of Influence by Robert Cialdini. And in that, Robert Cialdini explains that reciprocity is a great law, and when you do things for people, they would always automatically reciprocate by doing things for you. So that's why you've always got to give first, okay? And then when they came back and said, hey, Sahel, that's great. Now, what can I do for you? I would get them into a dialogue and onto Skype, and I would build rapport and connect with them. And like I said, social media accounts for 75% of my business and provided me with enough seven-figure deals using social media. So here's an example. I was out to reach out to this guy, Neil Asher, many years ago, a multi-millionaire, and I would send him something for free. I would send him one of my joint venture manuals or one of my joint venture worksheets, for example. And you can see here, he says, thanks for your incredible generosity, Sahel. You're an inspiring man. And this is how I've connected with people like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, Brian Tracy, Joe Vitale, Ken Blanchard, Brendan Pashad, who actually is a good friend of mine. I spoke on stage with him a few times, Tom Hopkins, and obviously Robert Cialdini. Most of these guys endorsed my book as well, which is from the rapport that I built with them. So let's go into finding joint venture partners again using things like Google. Google.co.uk and Google.com, a great place to find opportunities and joint venture partners. So, here's how to use Google effectively, okay? Step 1, write a list of keywords that most closely match your targeted market. Take each keyword and do the following search to find suitable JV partners. So if you're looking for personal development newsletters, type in personal development plus newsletter. If you're looking for personal development and forum, personal development plus forum. If you're looking for personal development plus and a blog, personal development plus blog. Step 2, here's what you do. Now with each list of results, visit the most relevant sites. Now when you're on Google, you'll have the PPC ads as well. Those are the good ones because those are people spending money already on ads, and those are people to approach because they'll be more open to joint venture partnerships. Okay, and then you want to check the suitability and ranking by using whois.domain tools. So remember I told you about mailing lists. If you can find a website for a mailing list, use whois.domain.tools.com to go and find out who the webmaster or the owner of that website is and contact them directly and say, hey, I know you have a list of 800,000 customers in this niche. I have a great product I think will add value to those existing customers. Would you be interested in talking about a joint venture partnership? Okay, so that's one way you can approach people and with mailing lists for free. Whois.domain tools is good. It'll tell you things like their Alexa ranking, whether they're blacklisted, how long they've been around, their visitor and contact details. So step 3, now you have a list. You've got to basically put them in a checklist and rate them A to B to C of potential JV partners. A would be the ideal partners with large lists of traffic. B would be the second group of potential JV partners. And C, the smaller, let someone else contact them later, but focus on the A and B pile. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. Okay, so now going on to contacting potential joint venture partners. You can use email to contact JV partners. It's practical, easy, and cheap. It's a great way to communicate with potential partners when you're already dealing with them. But the thing is, so many people are contacting people via email. So the only problem with this is most business owners receive a lot of emails, most of it is junk and spam, unless you have a strong headline that catches their attention. So email should not be your only mode of contact. This is the best, FedEx or special delivery, because the thing is, not many people are using it. It's the best way to contact potential partners, especially if you're after doing partnerships with experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and decision makers. It's professional and really gets used, okay? And it gets you past the first barrier and past the gatekeeper. As long as you mark on it, urgent, please hand deliver. So we've used this a lot of times, and I'll give you an example of how I've used it myself. To get in touch with CEOs of large companies, I would go into Barnes and Noble, for example, and I would choose the top 10 business books, and I would inscribe in those business books, love what you're doing with your company, great stuff. I just want to give this book to you to show gratitude of things that you've done to help us in the industry. And I would send it to 10 CEOs, and out of 10 CEOs, about at least 5 or 6 would get back to me. It'd either be the PAs or it would be the CEOs directly, and they would ask me the question, thank you for the book. Now say, oh, tell me a bit more about what you do. I'm interested in what you do. And that is a direct link to a CEO, and that's your opportunity to build rapport and a relationship with the decision maker. You can use the phone, that's a good way also, but with the phone, only use it to follow up after you send out your proposal. You should also get your partners on the phone after they've accepted your proposal. Don't use the phone to pitch, only use it to follow up or get an appointment. Never pitch your JV proposal on the phone unless you know the person very well. Here's my view on agreements and joint venture contracts. Okay, first of all, NDAs. Now, people like use NDAs. It legally stops people ripping off your trade secrets or IP or even your sales process. If you're worried about your IP, trade secrets, or sales process, then it's fine to use. Otherwise, you don't necessarily need to use an NDA in a deal. And again, the same goes with joint venture contracts. Only start drafting an agreement once the deal has been solidified and you have a confirmation to go ahead. Okay, so that's my view on using NDAs to develop contracts. Now, as you know, if you stay to the end of this training, you will get one of my joint venture contracts, one of my NDAs, and one of my JV proposal letters for free. That not only I use, but all my brokers and all my consultants use as well. So I'll give you access to those templates. You get them sent to you automatically. Okay, so here's a few tips I'm going to share with you how to network with influencers and basically with millionaires and billionaires. So this is my good friend Yannick Silver. He used to run a very cool event called the Underground event, and one year I got invited as a VIP guest as the joint venture expert. And I put up a post on social media and said, look, I'm going to be at Yannick's event. If anyone wants any help putting together some deals and JVs, just reach out to me. So I flew into Washington to Yannick's event. Before I even got into the room, I had a lot of people stop me outside and say, hey, Sahel, if you're here, can you hook us up with a few JVs? I said, well, sure, that's what I'm here to do. So on my right hand side, I had a lot of people basically shoving their product at me and saying, look, I've got this, help me, help me, help me, help me. And then suddenly someone taps me on my left shoulder and says, hey, Sahel, I know you're very busy. I'm an affiliate manager for Ryan Dice, for digital marketer. He said, well, I'd love to talk to you. I know you're very, very busy. Can I buy you lunch? And I was like, yeah, okay, sounds great. He said, that's great. I'll see you down at the restaurant for lunch. I said, that's fine. He walks off. And I was like, fine, what just happened there? Someone just bought me lunch. And then a couple of minutes later, someone else taps me on my shoulder and says, Sal, I can see you're very, very busy. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Can I buy you lunch? I said, well, I think someone else buying me lunch. He goes, well, let me do dinner. I said, yeah, okay, sounds great. He goes, okay, I'll see you down at the restaurant for dinner. I said, fine. So I turned back to my right hand side, and all these people are standing there saying, help me, and they're just basically they're just helping themselves. And what I realized was on that day was, I sat down with this affiliate manager for lunch. He had an hour of my time, and because he paid for lunch, I felt I had to reciprocate, right? Law of reciprocity. So I sat there and I gave him as much of my attention as possible, and how I could really, really help him. And also the same with the guy for dinner. So I learned a big lesson there that, if you first ask later, philosophy is a great way to connect with people who are very, very important, very, very busy, like thought leaders, billionaires. And I'm also going to show you how I use the same strategy to connect with a billionaire. So I met a guy at Yannick's event who said to me, Sahel, you're a great connector. I love what you do. I want you to come over and facilitate some JVs at my mastermind. So I flew to Tampa. I got picked up in a limousine, and I got taken to this house, which is the Avila Mansion, and it's a 40,000 square foot mansion in Tampa that was actually owned by a billionaire. And as part of the mastermind, all the members who are, remember, multimillionaires, get a one-on-one time with a billionaire. So the billionaire comes in, and his name is Paul. He sits down and he says to all the guys, look, I'm going to just share with you my story of how I became very successful and how I became a billionaire. So he tells a story about rags to riches, how he basically went to a school with people like, he knew Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and tells his story of going from rags to riches. And then at the end of his story, he gets up and says, well, I hope you guys really enjoyed that, and I hope it really motivates you and inspires you, and I wish you every success moving forward. So he gets up at the head of the table in this boardroom, and everyone goes over to his right hand side, and they're basically shoving their business cards at him, saying, "Hey, great speech, great talk. Here's my business card. Here's my business card." I walk over to his left hand side and I tap him on the shoulder and say, "Paul, I know you're very busy right now. A lot of people want to talk to you. Is it possible for us to sit down and have breakfast tomorrow morning?" And he calls his PA over, and his PA says, "Hey, can you just organize breakfast for me and Sahel in the morning?" And then the next morning, I get to basically sit with this guy all morning. And as you can see in the middle picture, we sit by the lake, we have breakfast, we talk about life, we talk about family, we talk about business. And another thing also, in the evening, when we went back the day before, when I went back to the boardroom, all the business cards were still sitting there. He didn't take anyone's business card because now he's a philanthropist and he's just interested in philanthropy. So I made a great connection there, and every time I used to go back to Tampa, he always used to say to me, "You never have to stay at a hotel. You come and stay at my mansion." So that was a great friendship that I built, and great rapport with a billionaire using what I was taught and what I learned about networking. And again, like I say, this is the power of real joint ventures. So there's some really cool strategies and techniques that you guys can use to influence influencers basically. So again, this same strategy I used basically with J. Conrad Levinson, and this in turn got Jay Conrad to become one of my mentors, and also I got to co-write a very successful book with Jay Conrad Levinson called Guerrilla Marketing Joint Ventures. So the story here is I was part of another mastermind called the Winner's Circle, and every year we used to have a mastermind cruise. And on one particular year, Michael Gerber from eMyth and Jay Conrad Levinson from Guerrilla Marketing were on the cruise. Michael Gerber was very impossible to get a hold of. I mean, he was basically a diva. He used to come in with his entourage and then he used to disappear. Whereas Jay Conrad Levinson used to sit there and just talk to people and tell us some really cool stories. So one day I passed Jay in the lobby and I said to Jay, hey, I know you're very busy, Jay. I know a lot of people want to meet you. Is it possible for us to sit down sometime and have a coffee or tea and just have a chat? And he said, yeah, sounds great. So I left him that morning, and then in the evening we were in the dining room, and we were told we couldn't disturb the VIPs in the VIP section because they were there with their families. And suddenly I heard someone call me over and said, Sahel, come here, I want you to meet my family. So I walked over to the table. There was Jay with his wife, with his lovely wife Jeannie, and all his family were there. And I sat with Jay and I had dinner with his family, and we just talked about really cool stories. And I mentioned to him that I was in the process of writing a book, and he said, hey, send it to me, let me have a look at it. I sent him the draft. He loved it, and he said, look, we've got to do this together. So we ended up writing Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures together. It was completed in 2014, and unfortunately Jay passed away just when the book was completed. And it took me a year to convince his family to publish the book in 2015. And then the book was launched in 2015, and it was a mega success. And I've made millions off the back of this book, and I love hearing stories of people who have purchased the book and loved it. They loved it as well. So this is, again, guys, you see, consistent in what I do, and why I'm very well known as being a connector and a joint venture expert, and always using the same strategies and tactics, which basically go beyond standard networking, right? And this is a lot of things that I teach not only to my students but also to clients and people who want to be successful in this game of joint ventures and strategic partnerships. So a couple of testimonials from some of my students. Sahel's $1 Million JV training is where the journey with joint venture started. Since then, I've closed a $3 million joint venture deal thanks to Sahel Markel. I've always been pretty good at business expert, but Sahel's $1 Million JV training blew me away. Since working with Sahel, I went from 20K a month to 100K a month using joint ventures. And that's Angie from LA. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you like access to all my joint venture programs worth $19,000 for free? So let me know in the comment box, chat box, would you like access to all my joint venture programs worth $19,000 for free? So let me know, is that a yes or a no? So give me a yes or a no in the chat box, in the comment box. Would you like access to all my joint venture programs worth $19,000 for free? Okay, so good. So yes. Gwendolyn says yes. Michelle says yes. JT says yes. Steven says yes. Okay, brilliant. So you'd like access to all my joint venture programs worth $19,000 for free. So here's what you get, first of all. This is a full list of my joint venture training programs, which include my joint venture specialist program, which is $5,000, my joint venture consulting program, which is worth $3,000, my joint ventures for business program, which is worth $3,000, and my joint venture introducer program using LinkedIn, which is $2,000, my whole joint venture university program, which is $5,000, and my B2B appointment formula closing system, which is worth $1,000. So a special webinar offer, only offer. Here is how you can get all of my joint venture training programs worth $19,000 for free. Basically, join my online JV mastermind, and you'll get $90,000 worth of all my programs, my online high-ticket programs, for free. Here's a full list of joint venture mastermind that you get access to. 2 mastermind mentoring calls a month, all the joint venture contracts you need worth $10,000, my joint venture business audit, which is worth $5,000, my live joint venture deals, which I share in my group, access to all my joint venture brokers, access to joint venture databases, and ongoing joint venture training, all within my online joint venture mastermind. Okay, it's strictly limited to 20 places only. So join my online joint venture mastermind basically, or for half price to get all my joint venture training programs worth $19,000 free. So on this webinar only, I'm giving you access to my joint venture mastermind for half price, and you get all my training programs worth $19,000 for free. So 6 months access to my online joint venture mastermind is normally $597. For today only, you get that for $297. So 6 months access to my joint venture mastermind with all the resources, including all my joint venture training worth $90,000 for just $297. Yeah, I'm absolutely crazy. Or 12 months access, which is normally $997 to my online joint venture mastermind with all my resources and all my programs for today only $497. Now, here's the next step. If you're serious, ask yourself this question. What is it costing you to stay where you are? Is it costing you more than $297? Is it costing you more than $497? So what I want you to do is, if you're interested in joining my online joint venture mastermind and get access to everything, which is crazy for that low price, go to milliondollarpartnering.com/HP, which stands for half price, to secure your spot immediately. So if you're interested in my joint venture mastermind, online joint venture mastermind half price offer, which you won't see anywhere else, it's just for this webinar only, go to milliondollarpartnering.com/HP. Get that now while you can, before we basically run out of that offer. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to open up to Michelle's written sold. Oh, great. Brilliant. Okay, yeah. Thanks, Michelle. So, okay, so Michelle signed up. Great. So get yourselves over there, guys. milliondollarpartnering.com/HP. A lot of you have been on the fence about buying programs from me in the past because they're so expensive and sell high ticket. This is an opportunity for you to get access to those same programs online, just for joining my online JV mastermind. Okay, so go to milliondollarpartner.com/HP and get yourself on there now, because those places will go very, very quick and they're limited. I think we only have, actually, I've just been told we only have 15, I think, spots on that. I think so. Just go and check that and have a look. And let's do some questions. So if you've got any questions for me, guys, about today's training, or any questions you want to ask me about the online JV mastermind, please put your questions in the comment box, in the chat box right now. So any questions? Let's do a Q&A. Any questions about the training? Is there anything that you want me to expand on? Are there any aha moments? Is there anything that you saw on the training that you thought, wow, that's really cool, I could use that? And also, have any of you guys done joint ventures before? So let me know if you have any questions. I mean, you're all still here. Just to let you know that those of you guys who stayed till the end, just for the templates, you will get them. So if you want to leave the training, you're welcome to leave right now. But like I say, go and check out milliondollarpartner.com/HP and go and sign up to the online joint venture mastermind. It is peanuts at the moment for what it is, because obviously, because what's happening right now, especially going on with the economy, I'm trying to help as many people as I can to really get back on their feet and join me in my community and join me in my mentoring, for such a low price. So milliondollarpartner.com/HP. Go there and sign up, and you will get access to all my lovely high-level joint venture training, and you will absolutely love it and get some great results from that. And you'll also get access to my online joint venture mastermind group as well, where I do my regular mentoring, and you get access to my resources as well. Okay, right. So any questions, guys? Give me some questions. Let's open up for a Q&A. If you have any questions about the training, about the mastermind, Chantel says, "Hey Sahel, I know you're busy right now, but can I take you to breakfast tomorrow?" I'd love that. I mean, just to let you know, my favorite breakfast is French toast, especially thick French toast. I love French toast. So, whenever I'm in the US, That's all I ever eat is French toast. So yes, I'll take you up on that. Let me know where and when. And yes, let's have some French toast for breakfast. Sounds great. Okay, good stuff, guys. Okay, any more questions? Let me know. JT says, "Where are you, Sahel?" I'm everywhere at the moment, JT. I mean, I travel a lot. I don't really have a specific destination right now, but I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks I'll know exactly where I'm going to be. But I love hanging about on the West Coast. West Coast is my favorite place. Ryan says, "Do you prefer joint venture brokering or partnering or doing your own?" I used to do a lot of brokering. I haven't done as much as I used to do. I used to prefer the consulting because the consulting I got to work with some very cool organizations, corporations. They paid for everything. They paid for my flights. They paid for my accommodation. It was a holiday basically, and they would pay me $30,000 for a day, $50,000 for 2 days consulting. Consulting was a lot of fun. But like I say, I like doing a lot of stuff from my laptop also. Stephen goes, I'm relatively experienced businessman, but unfortunately not able to promote a premium food product in Europe. Who should I consider approaching? At what level of distribution chains? Steve, if you want to help on that, I would highly recommend you sign up to the online mastermind. I've got all the training and resources in there that will help you create those deals. Michelle says, would you like to come to Australia and have dinner with me? I would love to. Australia is actually on my agenda. Let me tell you one thing. The last boot camp I did in Vegas just before the pandemic, majority of students flew in from Australia to Vegas for that boot camp. So I was very impressed with that. Very impressed with you Aussies with that. But yeah, Australia is definitely on the books for me. I have a couple of really cool friends out in Australia as well, and I'd love to do a boot camp in Australia. So Ryan says, can you explain the difference to those who don't know in terms of what consulting and brokering? Well, consulting really is advice. Brokering is hands-on. So if you're brokering a deal, you're basically managing that deal from A to Z, and you're managing everything. When you're doing consulting, you're just going into a company and you're just basically advising them on what they should do, and they do the implementation. When you're brokering, it's you doing the implementation. Okay, Jim says, tell them using of Give First has opened up to people. Yes, give first, ask later. I've always done that. I will still continue doing that. If you sign up to the online JV Mastermind and come into my private group, you'll see a lot of people in there. We have over 150, I think, members in that private mastermind, and yeah, you'll see some of the cool stuff that we do in there and the amount of help that I give. That's what I've always done. All right, guys. So again, www.milliondollarpartnering.com/HP. That is basically a deal of the decade. You will not get that or see that anywhere else. You won't see that anywhere else. That is at that low price, which is basically half price, 50% off my online joint venture mastermind. And people have paid $1,000 to get access to that. Plus, you will be paying $297 or $497. Plus, you get access to all my high level training. So, guys, any more questions? Let me know. You're all still here, so which is great. I'm here to help you. If you don't purchase my online joint venture mastermind, don't worry. I'm still here to help you. If you've got any questions for me, please put it in the chat or the comment box. But guys, if you really want to help, and if you're stuck, and if you really want my mentoring, my support, then the only way you get that is to join my online joint venture mastermind. Okay, you get access to everything that you need, and you won't need to pay more because I'll make sure that everything's provided for you in that group. All right, guys. So let me know if you've got any more questions. We'll take some more questions. If not, then I guess we'll end up ending the training. And like I say, I really enjoy these trainings, guys, and I'm always trying to give as much value as I can. I hope you really enjoy the training yourself. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know. If you have any questions about the training, please put it in the comment chat box. Otherwise, any questions about the online JV Mastermind, I can answer that for you also. And like I say, if you're watching the replay, go over now to www.milliondollarpartnering.com/HP, and hopefully there's still some spots there. Otherwise, we may be sold out. So check out the URL, check out what's there. All the details on that page, you will see exactly what you're getting and why it's an amazing value. And I think that's it, guys. I think we've got no more questions. Once again, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your time at your busy schedules for watching my training. I hope you really enjoyed it and I hope you can take away something from it. A lot of people who go through my training, whether it's here on this training webinar, whether it's on YouTube, actually make money from applying a lot of the strategies. So please, if you're not going to register for the online joint venture mastermind, please do apply some of the strategies that you've learned in this training because they will help you and you can go out and implement them. Stephen goes, thank you, Sarah. Really appreciate your insights. See you in New Zealand one day. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I am planning to be over that side very soon. And like I say, guys, if you want anything else, let me know. Reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and I can help you guys out as much as I can. And that's it. I really hope you appreciate the training, and I will see you guys on the next one. So wherever you are in the world, have a great evening, afternoon, and morning. And for those of you guys who've signed up, I appreciate that. Thanks for the messages. I also look forward to working with you in the online joint venture mastermind, and anyone else who's signing up to that. Look forward to speaking to you soon, and you will receive a personal email from me welcoming you to the online joint venture mastermind and access to all the training programs worth $90,000 as well. Take care, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.